Hello, everybody. Jamie the Board Game Man here. Today we're going to look at a 2 to 5 player game from the year 2007 by Funagain Games. Today we're going to be looking at Uptown. All right, here we are with Uptown. Okay. This is a 2 to 5 player game, and the setup is very, very easy. You're going to go ahead and place the board, then you're going to have your rack. You're going to have all the colors of your, like each player has their own colors, so you're going to grab all of the little tiles and place them in front of you. Then you're going to randomly draw 5 tiles and place them on the rack. That's pretty much it. That's all the setup is. In this game, what you're trying to do is you're trying to have the least amount of groups on the board. As you can see on the board, you have 1 through 9, and you can see some of these, you see numbers on here. You can lay down that tile, like for instance in this one, you can lay the tile anywhere in row 1. This one's row 9, so anywhere on row 9, and so on. Same with 7. If you have a 7, then you have it anywhere here. And then if you have a letter, like for instance, like D, you can go in this row anywhere. And then you have the actual icons that allow you to put it in that spot. So I have a set of cards here. I can put it anywhere in here. I have a car. I can put it anywhere in here. And like I said, you're trying to keep the minimal amount of groups that are, which in other words, they are adjacent to each other. Diagonally does not count. Okay. So let's go ahead and start off. I'll play a couple of turns here. The game continues until all of these tiles, mostly all the tiles, as soon as you have, actually, yeah, all the tiles that placed on your rack, like everyone has 5 tiles left with none here. Everyone has one final turn, and then the game ends. And then you're going to count how many groups you have, and whoever has the least amount of groups wins. And I'll go over a tie. I'll go over that towards the end here. All right, so for instance, we're going to say the green player here starts first. He's going to look over here. He goes, I'm going to go ahead and use this 7. I'm going to put it anywhere in row 7. I'm going to place it right here. So he places it there. He just randomly chooses a tile and puts it back. Okay. Now it's the orange player's turn. The orange player looks over here and says, okay, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and choose, let's see, a B. And he goes ahead and places it right here. Okay. So he places it in that row B. Picks a tile, puts it over here. Now it's the red's turn. Red's going to go over here and say, let's see, what tiles can I put together here to keep them together? Let's see. I want to go with, let's see, the cards are down below. Okay, C. Okay, so he's going to use the C. And he figures, well, I'm going to go ahead and place this right here. So he places it in row C. Okay, randomly chooses a tile, places it there, and now goes back to the green's turn. Green has that saxophone right there. He's going to go ahead and try to keep this the same right here, so it's still one group. That's what you're trying to do. And he's going to randomly choose a tile. Now it goes back over to orange. Orange is going to figure out what they want to do. Well, they have that C right there. Hell, we might as well use that. So I'm going to go ahead and get the C. He's going to place it right here. Keep it as one group. And he goes ahead and picks up an orange tile. Now it's going to go back over to red. Red's going to look and say, okay. Well, let's see. Do I have anything that might be together? Now, obviously, it doesn't have to be together, obviously. I mean, you might have to, you're going to have to get 2 or 3 different groups. I mean, sometimes it's hard because you just don't have the tiles next to it, but you just try your best to get it as close as you can, so maybe you can attach it later. Well, he has a 9, so he's going to go ahead and go to row 9 there and place that there, so he keeps it as one group. So far, all 3 teams have been successful keeping it as one group. Now this next turn here, now you see here, he has a dollar sign. I don't know if you can see that. No, you probably can't, I'm sorry. There is a dollar sign. That is a wild. So if you have that, every player only has 1. So yeah, that's the tough part. So let's see what we got here. Oh boy, this is tough. I've got C, that's all the way at the top. D won't connect. F, F will connect. So I'm going to go ahead and use the F. I'll put it right here. So they're all adjacent to each other, so that still counts as one group. Push that there. Orange goes next. Does orange have anything? 9H. 7, 8. Oh boy. So this looks like we're going to have the first, second group available here. Because it doesn't look like he can attach it. So he's going to try to get as many as he can close to each other. Let's see, he has the cards. The cards are down here. He has a 7. And he has an 8. So maybe he'll try to play the 7 and 8 and 9. He could try to do the 7, 8, and 9. So he's going to go ahead and do the 7 and go here. Okay. And then, so now he's the first one that has 2 groups. Oops. Tip that over. Whoops. So now he has 2 groups now. One that's together over here, and now he has a second group. Sorry about that. Okay, now we got the red group over here. He is going to go for, got 3 icons. But none of those icons are close by. Okay, he's going to try to use this 7. There you go. Row 7, perfect. He's going to use that. Keeps it together. Then we go over to green over here. Green says, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and use, let me see what I want to do here. How about, oh boy, Sandy. 9. Use the 9, put that here. So he still stays together. Okay. Now I'm going to show you what it means to capture. You're allowed to capture a player's tile. And how you do that is as long as you don't separate or add on another group to that player, you're allowed to take that tile. So for instance, let's just say orange is over here there. I'm going to go against the rules here. You say you do something like this, okay? And let's just say, let me use that for the F here. Say he does this, okay? I know this is not right, but I'm just showing you what happens here. Say he has the F and he wants to take this. Now what happens is, if he tries to capture this tile, now it goes from 1 group to 2. That is illegal. You cannot do that. You cannot add another group to another player. So that would be an illegal move. Now what he could do, if he wanted to, okay, let's just say he had one here, he could take this one. Let's just say he captured this one, and there you go, just to try to extend his 1 group. This did not add another group to me. So this is okay. I still have 1 group. And so he would place this in front of him, and he would capture that tile and lay it there. So that's the only time you can capture a tile, is as long as it doesn't add another group to the player. Okay? So that's something you can do. Play keeps going, like I said. The end of the game, the goal of the game, obviously, is, let's see, do as few groups as possible. A group consists of all adjacent tiles, with each tile being connected horizontally or vertically, as we already know. So the game ends after all players draw their final tiles. Everyone gets 1 final turn, and then the game ends. And then at the end of the game, you will have 4 unplayed tiles in your rack. So that's what would happen, is you would have 4, say this is all done, you would have 5, you just play 1 more, and you'd be left with 4. Okay? Then you would count up all the different groups. Whoever has the least amount of groups wins. Now, if there is a tie, that's when the captured tiles come into play. Whoever has the least, I know you would think it'd be most, whoever has the least amount of captured tiles wins the game. Okay? So you want, it's okay to capture, but you probably don't want to capture too much, because if you have the most, say he had 3 captured tiles, let's say he had like 4 captured tiles over here, this player only had a couple, like so, then he would win, because he has the least amount of tiles that were captured. Okay? See, we don't want to try to capture too many. It's okay to capture them, but you just don't want to go too overboard and capture everybody's tiles, because now if you end up being the least amount of groups, you can get away with it, because you only use those tiles as a tiebreaker. So, and that, my friends, is it. That's pretty much Uptown. So now the 2-player plays a little differently. If you have a 2-player, I think it gets a little tougher. In a 2-player game, you actually would play with both colors. You would have a rack for each one of these. So let's just say this is player 1. I would actually have 5 green tiles and 5 red tiles, and I would have to play these on the board. I'd be playing 2 colors, and he would be playing the orange, and the other one of the other colors is like yellow or blue. So you would actually be playing 2 colors. That's in a 2-player game. So you're actually playing 2 sets of tiles on the board in a 2-player game. All right. And that, my friends, is Uptown. So let's head on up. I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so my final thoughts on Uptown. Now, I actually have not played this personally yet. I have played this on BGA, so Board Game Arena does have this game on there, and I have played a few games on there. I do like it. It can be frustrating, though, but I do like it. It's a good game. I don't know if I like the 2-player version because you got 2 different colors that you're having to work with. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have yet to play a 3 or a 4 or a 5. I definitely want to play multiplayer on this. And it's very hard to find someone to play it on there. Because you could sit there and click on this, and it could take forever for someone to even click on it. So, I mean, try to go in the little messages and say, hey, anybody for Uptown? And sometimes it's quick, but most of the time it's really hard to find somebody to play. So I don't think I've played too many games on there, but every single time I have, it's only been a 2-player game. So I might maybe next time kind of get rid of the 2-player and set it up for a 3, 4, or 5, because I think that's what I want to do. Because it's a little difficult doing 2 different colors. I mean, you're just like, you focus so much, like if you're like green and red, you're really focused on the green, and you're like, oh shoot, I got to do the red too. And then you're trying to get the red and the green. It's tough. It can be tough, especially when you're not getting those tiles that you need. Even though they're in there, everyone has the same tiles, and everyone has that $1 sign you could use as a wild, but you only get 1 of those. So you really got to find a good time to strike on that. And what's weird is you don't use all your tiles. So once you have the last final 5 on there, it kind of sort of triggers the game at the end of the game, because then you have 1 more tile, and that's it. So maybe that's kind of around the time. Maybe you might need to use that $, maybe not. And then the capture tiles are interesting too. You think, oh, the more captured tiles, yay. Not necessarily. Now I hear what the similar to blockers, which I have not played, but I've watched some video on this, and he says it's very similar to blockers, where that rule is a little different. What you do is I guess in blockers, it's the same kind of deal where you're putting your tiles on and all good stuff. But in that one with the captured tiles, what it does is that you pick, I think it was the highest number of 1 color that you have. Say you had 2 from yellow, 3 from green, and 1 from brown. The one that you have the most of, you add those to your how many sections you have, or how many groups you have. And that's what your final score is. This one, it's just straight up whoever has the least amount of groups, boom, that's your score. Unless you tie, then they go into the capture tiles. Whoever has the least amount of capture tiles wins the game. So it's kind of similar, but it adds whatever group you took the most of, you add that how many tiles you have to your score. So it's interesting. I've not seen blockers. I've never played it, so I don't know. But I did see one guy, he did review this, and he was kind of saying that there's very similarities. I've never played the blockers, so kind of taking his word for it. And it looked very similar. So, but anyway, yeah, I found this in McKay's a while back, and I thought, oh, I like the way it looks. I mean, it's not a very big box. It, it shows a little bit on the back here what it looked like. I'm like, I'm willing to give this a shot. Now, I don't remember how much I paid for it because it's been a while since I've had this. And I kind of came across it again. I'm like, you know what? I want to do an episode on this. So I'm glad I finally did it on this. So hopefully you like the episode. Let me know if you've actually played this game. Let me know if you played it 3 or 4 or 5 players. I've only played 2, and I've always had to play the 2 colors. And I was like, I just want to play the 1. I just want to focus on the 1. But anyway, that's my review of the game. Let me know if you like it, or maybe you haven't even heard of it before. Maybe you played blockers and never played Uptown. Let me know in the comments down below. Well, that's my review. So thank you so much for watching. And as always, happy gaming.